Hi, Dr. Regan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
And I think there's a lot of power with putting the heart on the sleeve and just saying, this is the real, this is the honesty. And I am always leery of anybody who says that, it's just, you just get up, zing, motivated, you just push yourself through the day and everything is a win. And we know that that's not the truth. So I think it's really good to share the struggling side as well as the wins. It makes the wins that much more sweet. So
absolutely.
Welcome to the Everyday Practices Podcast. I'm Regan Robertson, and my co-host, Dr. Chad Johnson, and I are on a mission to share the stories of everyday dentists who generate extraordinary results using practical, proven methods you can take right into your own dental practice. If you're ready to elevate patient care and produce results that are anything but ordinary, buckle up and listen in. It all gets back to relationship. It really does. It's
great.
I mean, that's the only way you're gonna solve this particular puzzle, in my humble opinion.
Yes.
We've been talking a lot about communication. You've communicated with your team. You've communicated with yourself, number one.
Yes.
You've communicated with yourself and gave yourself positive self-talk during some pretty crummy times. Diving into the team, helping them understand their goals, helping everybody understand their part, which one of the things in your, I can't remember if it's your vision or mission, one of them was no drama, like lower drama team.
Yeah, on our standard of care of all things.
And I notice even with myself or with my children, if we have unclear direction or we have time on our hands, I find that's when the drama tends to come up because you have to fill your brain with something. So you're giving them a very focused scope of this is what we're achieving together as a team.
Yep.
So, going fee for service like you did. Remember, I held my breath because I'm risk averse. So I was like, what is he doing?
Right.
Why are we going to do this? It's going to be interesting to see.
And I'm going, I don't know, but I'm going to do something.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. It was fantastic. I thought it was really, you had a lot of confidence around it, knowing that it might not be, the easiest path, but you were going to do it. Might as well pull the Band-Aid off in 2020. What else can happen? Murder hornets. I don't know.
Right.
So you did that. And then communication, I really do see that as being a very key pillar to the endurance that you had through 2020. You had to communicate it with your patients and your team. And now you're having to re-communicate, re-educate again on this, the fees are going to go back up in 2021. So come January 1st, I don't know how patients responded to it, if they came back or not, to schedule that treatment end of year before the fees went up. So how has relationship building? In other words, do you actively work on a referral plan? Do you talk about that? Is that important to your marketing success? How does relationship factor in?
Yeah. So we have internal referral. That is our highest ROI because it's relatively cheap to implement and to manage. And then it, basically if you are treating people right, you're going to get them to refer other people. And so, yeah, we're refocusing our marketing. Of course, what's really cool, and again, this is what makes me a raving fan about Productive Dentist Academy, is that being comprehensively all in, the marketing team and Sarah is taking advantage of knowing our stats and then reallocating the money where we need it the most. And so one of our offices needs the most new patients, so we're trying to work on that. Another office just needs to be working on its branding from within to make sure that the existing patients that are now under my care feel like there's continuity of care, feel like,
Right.
so everything's going nice and smooth with that. And that they know what kind of treatment that we now offer. It's really cool when people go, "Oh, you guys do that in-house now? That's really cool." Whether it's placing an implant or doing Botox or sending a text message that they can now, schedule their appointment or cancel it, just by hitting C, stuff like that. So
I love the C. I love the
Yeah.
C text.
yeah. So no, yeah, we're implementing more marketing stuff into it, and that is a bigger picture, a part of the bigger picture of how we're trying to move in the right direction. Everyone's always calibrating, right? And it's exhausting communicating, but
Mhm.
it's more exhausting to not communicate and not hit your goals.
And not hit expectations, unspoken expectations.
That's right.
So I'm curious when it comes to the marketing, because I've known you for almost, well, I don't know, almost 10 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And to see you in your marketing journey. And I think you were a doctor that was really good at sharing his authentic self right out of the gate. You pulled humor in, you pulled
Yeah.
your own personal passion for travel and photography into your practice. So I think you've been really good at showing who you are
Yeah.
to your community and your team. But now you've got Johnston and Ankeny, you've got 2 new practices, right?
Yes.
Did you know, like, I'm going to have to put this percentage here? Did you realize that you were kind of, even though it's under the same brand, did it feel like it was starting over in a sense?
Doing it ended up being more work than I expected it to be. But at the same time, having all the same brand helped because we could carry what we knew into the new place and basically just start saying, okay, the culture that we have there, we want to implement it here. The
Mhm.
systems that we have there, we want to implement here. The branding, the marketing that are there, we want to bring it here. For example, like getting our Google My Business page up and running, like
Right.
when a couple of them, they weren't, up at all. And
Mhm.
so, but, dropping pictures in so that way it starts ranking better, trying to get, reviews, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of gardening to be done to this land to make it into an actual salvageable garden.
Right. Right. And there were areas, I think, that you just reflected that were time savers for you. Like, for example, you didn't get 3 separate websites, so you kept it under one house. Is
That's
that
right.
right?
That's right. And even our radio, we, do that all under the same name. So that way everywhere, these offices are all, 20 minutes apart from one another, but the radio station that's hitting all these different areas,
Mhm.
it helps that, it's like now we're available in this location, and this location, that people go, oh, I wouldn't have gone over to the east side, but, I'm on the north side. Yeah, I'll go there.
Do you have an extra team allocated to the marketing effort of marketing 2 extra practices, or do you use PDA and then?
Just all PDA. I think though within the office, we're finding that we need to kind of have some people in charge of taking photos, sending it to Sarah,
Mhm.
and, trying to figure out like what each office's niche is going to be according to, because I'm also trying to promote the associates, not just the Chad show, which is why
Right.
my office isn't called Johnson Dental, for example, that it's the bigger picture of kind of trying to remove my name before I've even retired.
And having the core values shine through in those associates,
Right.
part of the culture piece. So, okay, so thank you for spending an hour and a half of your life with me and all of our listeners. Can we
I love
revisit?
spending time with you.
Well, thank you. In 3 months, I think we should revisit and do this in real time and see
Yes.
how that plan is coming to fruition.
Yep. Because I'll call it right now. This is probably foresee that I'll get 80% of it done.
That's what you feel committed to.
Yes. And I'd love to, shoot for 100% now that the nation knows, but like at the same time, it's like, listen, if I get 80% of this done, I'm going to be so much further ahead than I am December 2020.
That's
And,
going to
and I'm
be
all right with that.
That'll be a definition of success for you, is what you've just
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
success is different to different people. So, right, some people couldn't do anything but 100%.
right.
And that would be indicative to me that maybe you're not dreaming large enough.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just, I think this next year is going to be a good year. I think we're going to be closer to our 2-year goals. Maybe it takes 3 years to get to the 2-year goal, but the fact is, in 2 years, I'll be closer to where I've aligned myself and my team, and that we're in harmony with each other and with our patients. I even explained at our business meeting to our team that, the the patients, do they see continuity in what they are noticing with the marketing and how our brand should be versus so their expectations. Are we meeting those expectations that we set them up to expect? Time will tell.
Absolutely.
I mean, but like if we're aware of that, at the handoff, at the phone call, when we first meet the patient, like, are they expecting to kind of get a talk about Invisalign because they see that on our website? Are they expecting because one of their cousins that referred them said that they got an implant, that I'm going to talk about their edentulous spaces that need implants? Yeah, I'd better, and it better be smooth. Because
Well, I think that is your everyday, that is the vision. That's what you set out.
yeah,
I think it was standard of care. That's what it was.
yeah,
On that document, I saw your standard of care. If I showed up every day and said, this practice, why I am here, we are passionate about the oral systemic link. That to me says that this is no matter what it is, it's a very serious conversation that we're having. Even if it's Invisalign, it's still, we're having a serious, because there is a connection to even the aesthetic, to the health of your mouth, to how you feel about it, to how you focus on it. You get what you focus on. Where focus goes, energy flows. And I think that's a beautiful statement. And I think that gets everybody rowing in the same direction. What I heard from you, Chad, was clarity, courage. Usually I would say confidence, but I think it's clarity, courage, and commitment.
yeah.
That's what you've done for yourself over this year.
Well, thank you. It was a time of self-exploration, because it's not like we talked for a little bit, but it's not like we really planned on where it would go.
No. No, that's the best part about these interviews. It is a sit down with Chad and Regan.
Right. Well, and I appreciate the audience for, I guess, being passive participants. I guess, that's the fun of a podcast, is you can kind of zone out. But if this meant something to you, then engage with us,
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to shoot me a private email, chad@productivedentist.com. And of course, it's Regan@productivedentist.com, REGAN.
That's
at
right.
productivedentist.com. You can also, see this stuff on Facebook. So if you look up Productive Dentist Academy, we post this kind of stuff there, and we'll see your comments and questions if you want to engage with us either privately or publicly on this kind of stuff. So feel free to get a hold of us. We have nothing better to do.
Oh, right.
So no, but seriously, I'd love to, like it is interesting. I'll get 2 or 3 comments, from either people locally or on a national level on Facebook, maybe even, where someone will say, hey, I listened to this, and that actually I connected with that quite a bit. And I'll be like, that's really cool. I'm glad that some of this stuck with some people. So I'm sure that's not the case for everyone. Some people might listen and go, oh, well, this is dumb. But for the people that this really connected with, I hope that my transparency afforded for them to go, you know what, that is exactly how I was feeling about it, and I want to follow that path. One example is the Business Foundations class. And does that start back up in January, Regan?
It does. It kicks off January 14th. Mm-hmm.
So that's worth investigating into, guys. Check that out. And that, of course, is being promoted via emails. If you're getting those, it's also being promoted on the Facebook page and on the website, productivedentist.com. So feel free to check that out. And I'm glad to have made all those plugs. So Regan, you don't have to.
Well, thanks so much. I'm glad that you continue to find value in it. And I think there's a lot of power with putting the heart on the sleeve and just saying, this is the real, this is the honesty. And I am always leery of anybody who says that, it's just, you just get up, zing, motivated, you just push yourself through the day and everything is a win. And we know that that's not the truth. So I think it's really good to share the struggling side as well as the wins. It makes the wins that much more sweet. So
absolutely.
Well,
Hawaii
thank
next
you.
year will be sweet.
Hawaii will be magical.
Indeed.
All right. Until our next Everyday Practices podcast, have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Everyday Practices Podcast. Chad and I are here every week thanks to our community of listeners just like you, and we'd love your help. It would mean the world if you can help spread the word by sharing this episode with a fellow dentist and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Do you have an extraordinary story you'd like to share or feedback on how we can make this podcast even more awesome? Drop us an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts from Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentist.com/podcasts. See you next week.